Hey guys, welcome to Parent Cafe Live. So with this episode, we are going to go into our self-regulation and deepening like some knowledge on breathing techniques and looking a little bit more into some things you can add to your safe space and use and practice in your home. So the first thing I want to ask you is, have you practiced the deep breathing? I have to practice it all the time or I forget. But I've been using it a lot lately because something had to give. I had to find a way to calm my nerves a little bit. I get really anxious and agitated, and it's never like a convenient time to be that way. Like I still have to parent, I still have to work, I still have to have a relationship with my spouse. And so I can't just have a tantrum because my emotional brain is taking over. So the deep breathing has really helped elevate my ability to stay calm and start problem solving faster, or realizing that I don't really have that big of a problem, or it's a problem I can handle. I already have the skills and the knowledge to do that. So it's been helping me a lot. So I really want you guys to practice it. So we're going to do it right now. So before we go any further, let's all practice some deep breathing. So we're going to breathe in our nose. So we're breathing in the good, and we're going to force out some bad. Like release any of those negative feelings, release the frustration, release those emotions and let them go somewhere that's not in your body anymore. So, okay, we're going to take one deep breath. In, out. How do you feel? Did you notice anything as you were doing that? Did you notice good things? Sometimes we need to do more than the 3 breaths. Like if we're really wound up, it might take a few more, and that's okay. We just keep doing it until we're calm. That's what we're trying to ask our children to do. So that's what we should practice as well. And I think you'll see some really good benefits in it. I know I do personally. Some of us need a little bit more to get our body to release some of that stress. So maybe you need to look in some meditation or yoga things. These decks of cards are so much fun, you guys. I've been looking through them more and more, and it's cool because you can do these with your kids. So you could turn these into your I love you rituals, doing mindfulness things that kind of bring us all grounded to be together. I was looking through one, and it was a mindfulness castle, and so you went through this card by visualizing. You take your 3 deep breaths, then you start visualizing a castle in your mind, and you start exploring it and having created vivid details for these rooms and as you tour this castle. And if other thoughts come back in, you're supposed to remind yourself to take another deep breath and focus back in on your castle. And so not only are you creating some mindfulness and getting out of the negative brain cycle or a stressful brain cycle, you're teaching your kids and building their brain power to focus. So that's pretty cool. So there's other things using like fist squeezes. So whenever I do like a hypnosis relaxation thing, I sometimes have to do it to sleep. So it's really just a guided relaxation. I don't know if anybody believes in hypnosis or not, but when I search it, that's what I have to search to come up with it. But they talk to me from my head all the way down through my body to like visually like squeeze and relax and release those muscles. So if you have to do that, start by like relax your ears, relax your eyes, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. And you do that at a slower pace than that. And as you count down all the way to your toes, and you just get your body to be chill. So try that. Try different things that you think might work. These are really quick things. I just think they're fun. If you work It wouldn't be a bad idea to take some of these to work and try them like at your next staffing, just to ground people. Like, I think any chance you have during the day to find some grounding, it's totally okay. And it's it's not a new concept, but I think it's becoming more acceptable. And you can, like, these ones are just really fun. And if you walk in with something that's kind of really looks kid-based, people aren't like as afraid of it. Like, they're maybe willing to be a little sillier or adventurous. So, talk about that. Think about that. So the more we practice and use this in our own lives, the easier it is going to be to transition it into our homes. So we did creating like a sensory safe space for active calming for our kids, and we created like the breathing book. Well, you can go a step further to create a book that revolves around, I just had this hot little chart in my hand. So there is some tenets to like naming our feelings and focusing through and getting our kids to kind of regulate. So they have some icons on the conscious discipline. So I am, so as we know, for active calming, we're taking our deep breaths, and then we're going to affirm that I am safe. I am in a safe place. So if they're in their safe place, whatever that looks like, and as they get older, that could be anywhere, but they know they're safe because they're in their safe space up here. I am calm. I'm going to take my breaths. And maybe they have multiple breaths they want to try. Maybe they like to color. Maybe they like to listen to music. And those would be some things you could create like visuals for. These are the things they can do. And you'd have these things in their little safe space that they can use. They can name their feelings. So I am angry. I am scared, and that's okay. Then they can choose what they're going to do with that. So if they've made negative choices, which have gotten us to the point where we're like, go to your safe space because you need to calm down. You're not making good choices right now. There's choice charts on that. And then to solve, so what are they going to do? And conscious discipline has all of those things. But depending on what is going on with your kid at home, use your visuals accordingly or make a little book. So when you're making your book, I think it would be cool, instead of using just like the angry faces chart, to use pictures of your child making funny faces. So they have the faces chart, your conscious discipline. And so you can use these faces. You could cut those out. You could use emojis. You could use the pictures, like I said. But sometimes they just relate really well to seeing themselves. And kids like to take photos at a young age and make funny faces. So have them be a part of creating their safe space. So they're going to name how they feel. Then they're going to go to their safe space. They're going to have their favorite techniques. So if you're making a book, this would be like the order you would put it in. Then there are other calming activities. And maybe you just have, whatever they liked out of the deck of cards, or they grab their book that has activities in it. And then they're going to keep staying calm and breathing until they're calm. And then they're going to continue their day. And so if you show that and reflect that in your images, it's going to be easier for those kids that aren't reading yet. And even if they are reading, it's really good to have visuals. Like, I can't read a textbook if it doesn't have visual representation. Like, I like my diagrams and graphs, or even just pictures of whatever they're trying to show. It's really important. Me showing you this is more helpful than me just talking about it. So using any tools you have at your disposal is going to be really important. You could create a little deck of cards, with like 3x5 note cards, and put a hole punch in them. And you can get a little binder ring. They sell those in all the like school supply sections. and it's just a little groove thing that closes, and then it's easy to open and put new pages in or out. These Conscious Discipline has some other cute things. So they have more like a spinner for the faces and different things for them to choose. So really, whatever tactile sensory type things would benefit your kid, use that and think about that when you're building things for them to use as calm down strategies. Some kids like to put lotion on, and I think it's really a cool idea because this can really release some tension and stress, right? So they have these cute labels, which you could use or make your own, but like Cranky Cream, Comfort Cream, Boo Boo Cream. Like, I think that's really sweet. And you could do that with like a snack or a drink. Maybe they love grape juice or something. So when they're having their calm down corner, they can have their little snack and drink or something. Not that we want them eating every time they're upset, but maybe you use Fruit Loops and they like to color organize them into cups or something. Like, every kid's so unique and in things that calm them and that they like to do. Some kids just want to snuggle under their blankie. Some kids just want to fume about it and sit and breathe. Some kids want to, talk to their baby doll about what's going on. So explore that with them and give them options, and they'll find more and more things they can do. So we talked about how we talk to our kids, so really thinking about that and being intentional, because this is not a punishment. If you choose to do timeout still, or you wanted to start, just do your research on it, and make sure you're in control. You still should be regulated and control if you're doling out punishments too, because it's really easy for us to allow our anger and frustration to really overtake that, and maybe we are too harsh on our punishment, or just the way we talk and express what's going on. We don't need to scare our kids. Little kids definitely don't know better for a lot of things, and it takes us repeatedly reteaching, and that does get frustrating. So just be in check of yourself, and try to really be in control no matter what you're deciding to do. It'll go further. Our kids being afraid from us is not teaching them the lesson that we want them. We want them to make better choices. We want them to stay safe. We want them to use better language talking to us or others, keeping their hands to themselves. So if we react in anger, they're learning that's an okay reaction. And they're also learning that it's more important to keep us happy. So they might not be as honest with us, or they might get kind of sneaky in their acts because they haven't learned that they shouldn't do those. They've just learned that they don't want to be caught by us. Does that make sense? It's a tough one to do sometimes. And if we can always do over, if we lose our temper and we say things the way we wish we hadn't, that's okay. We just recount, apologize, redirect. It's not like you have to grovel at your child's feet, but letting them know that that was not acceptable, the way you handled that situation, and you're going to work on handling it different, but it still doesn't change that they're in trouble. But this is what's going on, and this is why I was frustrated, and this is what I would like to see from you. How do you think we could make that happen? So then if it's visual routine charts that you need, or breathing techniques because they're just getting really frustrated and angry and having emotional outbursts, so that's where some of those actions are coming in, that's okay. Let's see, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. So with the breathing exercises, practicing those, just like we did with the I love you rituals, practicing those with your child randomly through the day, because the more we practice when they are calm, the easier it is for them to tap into that memory when they're upset. Does that make sense? I know that if I'm trying to teach a new strategy, it's definitely not really working if my kid's dysregulated, so I have to wait till he's calm. Otherwise, I just have to sit there and be patient until he kind of calms down a little bit on his own, but it's never very pretty if they don't have these skills. So like things have gotten way better. You know, he's 5 now, and we've been practicing things, and he's able to better access and tap into his brain. But he'll always say like, my brain did a flip and I couldn't do anything about it. My brain had control and I couldn't do it. So he's really grasped that his brain and those emotions kind of overwhelm sometimes, and we just kept practicing, and he's getting better at it now. And he's starting to feel a little bit better. Like as the days he goes better, he's like, I worked really hard today to not let my brain flip. I worked really hard today to make better choices and not get angry and talk back. I worked really hard today to stay calm and take deep breaths, and say yes to his teacher instead of no, I'm not doing that. So we've come a far way in the last year. And you know, he's a younger kid in his class, so that always makes it a little more difficult because developmentally he's just a little bit behind in some of that. So that'll probably be our challenge, and it's his personality. So taking personality into consideration when we're looking at things that our child is going to do well with. Some kids might not really sit there with their feet crossed breathing very well for very long. So if they don't get through all the 3 breaths, like just see what else you can do. So using like that imagery of that mindful castle, like that might be a better way to go through it. They have something to do that's a little tangible. And so once we're calmed down and we're starting to problem solve and think, wishing well is so big. And we're going to have a video just on ways to brainstorm and putting that kindness and goodness out into the world and really letting our body turn the emotions into a positive emotion. And that's why it's called wishing well. So we think well for others. And that really puts our brain in a better place. So let's see. I had one more question for you guys. So do you think that you could feasibly integrate your safe space into your home and find techniques that work for you guys, and then create like a booklet or visual chart for that? So if you can't, I still think trying to be as consistent as you can with the techniques you're offering your child is really important. And a safe place doesn't have to be super extravagant. It could be under their bed, in the closet. You know, it's not like you have to clear out a whole space in your house for it. It's probably a space they already go to. You just can, you know, name it, make it a little cozier for them. So that's what we have for today's video. Tune back in. We'll be doing the putting kindness out into the world, and then we've got some stuff on how to build some secure and attachment like play with your child, so they get to kind of watch you role model, and then they get to practice that with a baby doll. And then the next one is getting your kids to be contributors in your home. So that means them wanting to be helpers and honoring it when they are helpful. And we're going to talk about some strategies and things, again, visuals. So I hope you guys will tune in, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications for new uploads, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.